Hi, I'm traveling on a bus in London. I thought I'd talk for a moment more about reporting processes. After the master file update process is finished, typically in a legacy system, you'd have a separate report process that goes on to use the master file to produce the report that is needed. Most often, it would not be one report, it would be many different reports, and often, in a simple world, there was a different program written to produce each one of those reports. So the master file would get read multiple times in order to produce the report that's required. Now, there's a number of steps that go on in producing a report. One of the first steps, as we read the master file, is to do record level filtering, course filtering, record selection. This is determining if this master file record is applicable for the report that's to be produced. The process of doing this is because our master file might contain data for many different geographies, companies, products, customers, vendors, but our report may be much more specific. So we only need a portion of the balances for the report. After the record is determined whether it's appropriate for the inclusion in the report, then the next step of the process is actually to pull values off of the master file record to be put on the report. You don't typically format the report immediately though. You simply extract those values that are needed for the report. Now there's one set of values that could be columns on the report, but they're a special kind of column. There's the sort order of the report. So in this case, you have to determine what values that you want your report sorted by. In a legacy system, we would have not had an online query process. We would have produced a report for a whole set of customers and vendors and so on, but we would sort the report by some key. And then a person, when they wanted to actually do the query, they would scan the report, find the appropriate, using alphabetical order or numeric sequence, find the appropriate vendor, customer, whatever, and that would give them their answer. The query process was done based upon the result of the sort key. When we're doing this in a master file update, a master file reporting process, we have to extract those values that we're going to sort the report by. But we also want to extract the values that are going to go on the report in the columns, even the non-sorted columns. So we do all of that work, and then there's a synchronization point where we actually have to sort the file. We have to sort the extracted data to put it in order before we can actually produce the report. After you sort the data by the sort order of the report, then you take those data values extracted for the columns and the other things, and you can add calculations. You can do cross-column calculations, summarization. After you do summarization, you could do another level of filtering to exclude certain records that are below a threshold. Say if they're not material, or customers with zero balances will throw them away. So those kinds of things could be done after you've sorted the file. Another level of filtering based upon the summarization totals. All of this stuff goes on in producing our reports, and as I said, there are many different reports that were produced off of master files. Now, we could do this in different ways. You could use a database, so we could extract the data in the report and put it into a database instead of printing a report and having someone scan the report to find the values they wanted. They could do a query against the database and find the value that they wanted, and it looks like to them they only found one value, but somebody had to produce the database file that was used to produce the report. In all of these steps, in the record level filtering, the sorting process, even the column processes, another process that typically happens, we talked about, is join processing. So data could be joined to from the master file. The master file might not contain all of the data that's needed for the report, but it would contain the keys that could be used to look up and get to other data that could be used to include on the report or not. So this is one of the major processes that go on in reporting. These sort of steps are repeated over and over and over again in structured data, quantitative data analytics. We use master files, we update master files with balances, but then we use those balances in many different ways to produce many different kinds of reports.